never been. It's a renaissance. There's never been anything like it.
So maybe what we should do is then have a press conference and literally put out all of the accomplishments, because what's happening... Boss, you remember when I was by your side? I literally used to act...
What the hell is happening with Michael Cohen? Boss, you remember when I was by your side, boss? Yeah, that was before you said he was a racist and a con man and a cheat and somebody who should go to prison. We are going to do a deep dive into the final point of the Michael Cohen arc that has led him to doing a friendly booty kissing, boot licking, anal cavity climbing into interview with Trump after years of being like a resistance lib. Michael Cohen was, I was so regretful for my actions. Good, thank you for saying that. I actually think Trump's terrible. Good, that's true. We have to stop him, he's a threat to our country. Absolutely. And now he is, boss, you remember when I was by your side, buddy?
No, God!
Right. God, no. No, please, no. No. And we're going to look at moments from this interview that he did with Trump after multiple meetings with Trump where he got a friendly pat on the back. He literally tells that story. You patted me on the back in that famous way you do. And I said, am I your little boy? Tell me I'm your little boy, daddy. Okay, maybe that was not, maybe that was not in it. But that's what I'm hearing this whole time. What do you think boss means? Be my boss. Get me in trouble for showing up to work late. Corporal punishment, my.
Daddy, chill.
So before I show you moments from this Michael Cohen interview with Donald Trump, let me give you some context. And I'm going to remind you of some clips, because I need you to know this going into the interview. I gave you a teaser, but then hold with me now. And also, I should say welcome everybody to the show. Luke Beasley, joined by producer Kayla, and Jaden Cole is off on a little bit of a weekend trip. We love that for him. But he's missing out. Oh, you want to go to the beach? Well, you don't get to talk about this beach.
Oh, yes.
You see?
Yes.
But thank you for joining us live or whenever you're watching this back. So, what happened if you missed this was Michael Cohen was literally a Midas Touch contributor, which is the biggest anti-Trump podcast. And Michael Cohen every week would say, Trump's terrible, this is bad, we need to stop him. And then, inexplicably, I don't know if I said that word right, he flopped so fast. If I was trying to watch him, I would have snapped my own neck on accident from whiplash. And he starts saying these things about how I actually think the government was weaponized against Trump, coming from the guy who said that Trump weaponized the government against others, but now he's flipping it. And he's mixing it, he's bopping it. And then he met with Trump, and then he's talking about burying the hatchet, and every time he gets asked, hey, you have said some of the most harsh criticisms, correct criticisms, but harsh criticisms of Trump. Why are you now acting like he's not who you previously described him to be? Michael Cohen goes, I don't want to think about the past. I'm thinking it forward because now we're friends again. So, and I can't emphasize for you enough how opposed to Donald Trump after Michael Cohen stopped being his personal lawyer, his fixer, he was. Michael Cohen got in legal trouble, went to prison for Trump by his own telling, and now is perpetuating these very talking points of Trump and having this friendly interview where he begs for Trump's approval. It's so cringy. So if you're not aware, let me give you some examples. Here was Michael Cohen after the Biden-Trump debate that was a calamity. And Cohen was sticking up for Biden and saying Trump actually should be the story because he's a pathological liar.
But to remind people exactly of who Donald Trump is, what would you suggest? Forget it, putting aside the energy and the tiredness stuff. What would you suggest Joe Biden does in the next debate to remind people and more importantly, put Donald Trump, on the defensive?
Yeah. So from the very first question, what I would have done is I would have come at Donald Trump with facts, something, of course, Donald Trump knows nothing about. There was no It wasn't even a minutia of facts in anything that Trump says.
He's quoted in this interview as saying this man has lied 35,000 times, says Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen says this mere years ago. This wasn't that long ago, ladies and gentlemen. Or you might remember Cohen going on and talking about Trump's conviction very approvingly.
It's something that haunts me every day.
So how did you...
Oh, wait, let me go back. Because he was asked, do you regret associating with Trump at all? Okay, this is after Trump was convicted on 34 felony counts. And Cohen says, I regret ever associating with him. Why associating with him now, then?
What that was like for you? You spent years fighting for Donald Trump, bullying people for Donald Trump, even lying, as you just said, for Donald Trump in coordination with his people. Do you wish you'd never met him?
I do. This has been enormously difficult on my family more than anything. It's been hard on me.
Yeah. Well, you what? That's not all. Again, I'm giving you all the context. Then we're going to look at the interview. Look at this. Look at this. Look at what they said about each other.
He's a weak person, and by being weak, unlike other people that you watch, he's a weak person.
I know what Mr. Trump is. He is a racist. He is a con man. And he is a cheat.
And he's also my boss.
Trump called me a rat for choosing to tell the truth, much like a mobster would do when one of his men decides to cooperate with the government.
But you know, he's a sleazebag. Everybody knows that.
Well, once a sleazebag, apparently not always a sleazebag. Our first inkling of the reconciliation came in January when Cohen went on his Substack claiming that he, quote, felt pressured and coerced, unquote, by New York's Attorney General Letitia James and Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg to testify against the president. Then today, Cohen, who's now a New York radio talk show host, posted this teaser for the conversation he recently recorded with his old boss, and now it seems his former nemesis. Quoting his post, after years of betrayal, heartbreak, fury, and silence, two men who once stood together against the world face the impossible question, can forgiveness resurrect what hatred destroyed? Well, he plugged the taped interview again on The Lead with CNN's Jake Tapper and followed up with this in the on-air run-up to his 6 p.m. broadcast on WABC Radio.
The president and I, over the course of the past 1 year, have seen each other 3 times. And during those meetings, they were emotional, they were familiar. Again, it's very tough to describe the feeling. We had a friendship for 15 years.
Very close friendship.
That was rocked by politics, by the weaponization of the Department of Justice.
Oh, the weaponization? Oh, you had your world rocked? Oh my gosh, you had your world rocked? Oh, but the weaponization? You said Trump was the one weaponizing. You got in front of the world under oath. It's still his profile photo, him standing there preparing to say all the things he said in that clip of when he said he was a cheater and all that. And that's his profile photo still on X, holding his hand up. I swear to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Why is that such a redundant thing you have to say before you sit down to these sworn testimonies? I don't know. Well, you say it, and he said it, and then he said Trump's racist comment cheat. He's my boss. I went to prison for him. I regret associating with him. Look, that's his profile photo. He's so proud of it. Wait, so you said Trump's attacking you because you dare to tell the truth, but now you're recanting? So were you lying then? When were you lying, Mike? Big Mike, when were you lying? Oh, it's unbelievable. Okay, so now we get to the interview. You would think he would have something challenging to ask. What do you say?
I just Googled what mea culpa meant, and it's an exclamation of apology or remorse, meaning it's my fault.
That's his podcast. I'm sorry, it's my fault. I never should have worked for Trump. He's a terrible person.
Mistake.
Much like your mother made with you, Michael. Oh, no, I'm kidding. Just kidding. Thank you. That's for you in the back. Okay, so then we get to the interview. Oh, brother. The things. Again, Michael Cohen worked for Midas Touch, meaning the network that is the most adamant about explaining the dangers of Trump. And every week he would talk about the dangers of Trump. Are you going to ask Trump about the dangers of Trump in this interview? I wanted to have an open mind. Maybe Michael was just playing a smart game to make Trump think he was on his side so he could interview him and then challenge him. But no. Here's the first clip.
There's never been, it's a renaissance. There's never been anything like it.
So maybe what we should do is then have a press conference and literally put out all of the accomplishments, because what's happening, boss, you remember when I was by your side, I literally used to analyze the polls, right? And you remember how much attention that I used to pay to that methodology? I would come in, I would say to you, oh, you know, they're claiming that you're 31%, that you're underwater, but I showed you that
the polls are crooked. The polls are...
Exactly.
So the reporters, as you know, are crooked, but many of them. You have some great ones, too, but for the most part, it's really dishonest.
But the sample
reporting.
size
When
is
you
roughly...
when you read the New York Times, it's so dishonest. When you read these things, and they're not doing well. Look, the reason they're not doing well is because they've lost a lot of credibility. And now you do have great journalists. You do have great reporters also. Many people are very good. Very, very good. I can name them, but by naming them, I'll leave some out. But you also have a lot of people that see how good things are with the economy is a renaissance. There's never been anything like it. We had the greatest economy ever in my first term. This is going to blow it away.
Look at, guys, oh my gosh, there's so much here. Can we just spend like 3 hours on this, please? Did you hear him say, maybe what we should do is we hold a press conference laying out all of your achievements? Jesus. You don't work for him. Oh, but you want to, don't you? Oh, you want him to be your boss daddy so badly again, don't you? He'll put you in line. He'll deny your overtime. Oh, he'll tell you you're a bad boy. Aren't you, Michael? You're a bad boy. And you liked when Trump would tell you that. You'd fix his little problems. You'd fix his tiny little problem whenever he wanted. Didn't you, Mike? Is that what you're longing for, Mike? To fix his teeny weeny little problems whenever he asks you. And when you fix it afterwards, he pats you on the head and he says, good boy. And you say, thank you, boss. Is that what you're missing, Michael? So first he groups himself into Trump's cohort saying, we should do a press conference laying out your achievements. Michael, you said he was a terrible president like 2 seconds ago. What is happening? What do you mean lay out all of his achievements? And actually, let me see if I can... I took a screenshot this morning when I was prepping this segment. Please tell me that... Yes! This is the screenshot. Okay, that's the wrong screenshot. So that's not what I was looking for. I'm a bad boy. So guys, this is only 3 months ago on Michael Cohen's YouTube channel. There is a video titled, Trump's approval is collapsing with his own base. Trump collapse, minus 38 points, with an angry Trump in the thumbnail. He says in the interview, you remember when I was by your side and I would say, don't believe those polls? Well, everyone's doing fake polls again about you and I won't stand for it. And Trump's like, you're right. And Michael's like, yeah, these are fake polls. 3 months ago, Michael, you were reporting on your show about said polls, about Trump's approval rating collapsing. And now you're becoming like a poll conspiracy theorist that actually Trump's really popular. And every single poll, even by right-wing pollsters that prove he's not popular, are wrong. They're a part of an op to convince people that Trump's not doing well when actually he's doing so perfectly. 3 months ago, he was reporting on the polls, credibly. And now he's saying when he's sitting with Trump, they're just lying about you. But somehow this clip is worse. Somehow this clip is worse than him going, and boss. Can we hear that? Actually say this. We got to hear that one more time. We're going to have to get that on the soundboard when Cole gets back. Listen to this one more time. Because it's not just that he says boss. It's that he like gags for a second.
And literally put out all of the accomplishments. Because what's happening... Boss, you remember...
Boss. This is so... Guys, this is more extreme than if I tomorrow interviewed Trump and was like, you're awesome. That's how much of a 180 this is. I'm just worried there are some people in the audience who might not know the story of Michael Cohen. Yes, he worked for Trump back then for a while. But the last 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like almost a decade, 6 years maybe. I don't know. I can't remember exactly how long. He has been as anti-Trump as me. Okay, it would be like me tomorrow randomly sitting down with Trump being like, everyone's lying about you. You're so awesome. Meh, boss. But somehow I think this clip is worse. Watch.
I want to go back to 2016 if we can, because you and I have obviously traveled a pretty rocky road together. Do you remember, sir, when I went on CNN with Breonna Keeler and she told me that you were underwater in the polls, and I responded with those famous 2 words, says who, which became some worldwide meme.
And good advocate, and then they...
When? I don't remember that being a worldwide meme. People say says who all the time.
Says who, which became some...
You remember back in 2016 when I was defending you? By the way, in a clip I'm about to show you of Jake Tapper asking Michael Cohen, once this interview was announced, hey, do you still believe he's a racist, a con man, and a cheat? Among the many other things you said about him? Michael Cohen goes, I don't want to talk about the past. I'm looking forward. Which is dumb because we're asking what you currently think about Trump as compared to the last recorded characterization of him. So this is a present discussion about what you currently believe about him and his character, given what you previously said about his character. But Michael Cohen goes, I don't want to look in the past. But then this whole section is him being like, do you remember 2016 when we were buddies? That's the past, Mike.
I want to go back to 2016 if we can, because you and I have obviously traveled a pretty rocky road together. Do you remember, sir, when I went on CNN with Breonna Keeler and she told me that you were underwater in the polls?
Nobody
and
remembers
I responded
that.
with those famous 2 words, says who, which became some worldwide meme.
And good advocate, and then they weaponized you like nobody's ever been weaponized, like few have been.
Well, maybe just you and I, sir.
And you, yeah, me too, but I don't consider mine, mine was at a level that nobody's ever seen before. But they weaponized you. They weaponized a lot of people. And I respect the fact that you recanted everything you said. And that's a big thing that you did. That's a very big thing.
Sir, you may remember
the country.
You may remember that following morning you called me into the office after, and then you gave me one of those traditional Trump slaps on the shoulder, and you said to me, F them. You're stronger than them. We've got this. Now, the funny thing is that CNN never apologized. They never retracted anything.
The hell do they have to retract? You might not be following what the discussion is. So Michael Cohen's going, do you remember when we were besties and you'd slap me on the shoulder like that? And it was so great. And I would never wash that part of my shoulder. Do you remember that? Okay, so then he's talking about, and then I said those famous 2 words that are practically as famous as I have a dream. Says who? And what he's trying to depict is, see how the media is so dishonest? They thought Trump was going to lose in 2016, but he actually won. And they never recanted. But the key part there is Trump goes, yeah, thank you, Michael, though, that you're recanting everything you've been saying. And Michael goes, yeah. But he's not, right? Because when he gets asked on any other platform, are you recanting what you previously said? He goes, I don't want to talk about the past. So he's actually not. Because then he would be proving he's a big liar. You can't have both, by the way. You can't be saying this stuff in this interview and have been honest for the last few years. One is a lie. That's just necessarily true. Your 2 brands of Michael Cohen are mutually exclusive, okay? So there's no way to go, well, I mended fences with him. This has nothing to do with you having a mended personal relationship. This has to do with your character assessment of him. Which one is it? What you've been saying for these last few years, or what you believed many years ago and what you're back to now? It's one or the other. Okay, but then Michael thinks it's a slam dunk to be like, oh, well, CNN, they thought that you were going to lose, but they wanted. They never even apologized. There's literally nothing to apologize for. Can all of you understand something? The polls weren't that off in 2016. Oh, mind blown, I know. What? No, yeah, they were. No, they weren't. No, they weren't. If you understand polling, yes, they showed Hillary Clinton leading. But there was a chance, like a 30% chance that Trump could pull it off. Guess what? 30% means it can happen sometimes. About 30% of the time. Okay? And he lost the popular vote. And then pulled off a very unlikely win. Outlets reporting on how unlikely it was does not mean they were dishonest, because it was unlikely, but Trump narrowly pulled it off. and didn't even win the popular vote. Got trounced in the popular vote. So the general polling was correct that Hillary was more popular, but this wacky system we have where just 7 states choose every single presidential election for some reason allowed for Trump to win. There's nothing to apologize for. And if you actually looked at the polls, it was clear Trump had a shot.
And now, years later, CNN, MS Now, and the other left-leaning outlets, they're doing the exact same thing, constantly talking about you being underwater with favorability numbers. Mr. President, what do you say to these people who keep bringing up polls when you're not even running for office again? What's the point?
I'm not, and I think that we're doing really well in the polls, the real polls. If I were running today, I think I'd win by 25 points. I think we'd win by a lot. The economy has never been stronger. We're doing numbers that nobody's ever seen before.
There's a word that we're not supposed to use that I really want to use. I want to use it so it keeps almost slipping out of my mouth. You are really, really aggravating me, Michael. Your dishonesty is busting at the seams. Oh my gosh, I cannot even imagine this. Why are people bringing up polls even though Trump's not running for office? You need me to explain this to you, Michael. Okay. The reason is because since the beginning of public opinion polls and political punditry, it has been a notable data point to track where the president stands in the view of Americans. Do you agree that we should base leaders, better said, in the government should base their governance off of what Americans want? Yeah. How do they know what they want? Polling's one of the ways. So then we can get feedback from that information to see how Americans are reacting to Trump's governance. Then, Michael, Trump's not on the ballot, but do you understand how Trump is the Republican Party in many ways? So by polling Trump's approval rating, we can better understand what future elections with the Republican Party might see. Crazy I had to explain that to you. Especially crazy since you were talking about Trump's crashing approval rating 3 months ago on your show. Michael, you're the most fraudulent human being I've ever seen in my life. At least Trump is a pathological liar for himself, but you're becoming a pathological liar for him, for somebody else, just so they'll give you one of those classic Trump pats on the shoulder. So then Jake Tapper asked Michael Cohen, hey, what'd it be? Maybe not that exactly, but something to the effect of, Mr. Cohen, what'd do?
Now, here we are 2 years later. You've reconciled with Trump. You've criticized the prosecutors you cooperated with for how you felt. You've landed a show on WABC, which I think is accurate to say that they're fairly Trump-friendly.
Yes.
You even said Trump gave you a glowing recommendation for the job. How do you answer the criticism that people see you as an opportunist?
I don't care what he has to say. I speak, and I continue to speak truth. I believe, as I have always believed, that I am more centrist than I am anything. There's nothing in my... You
did a podcast on Midas Touch! I've always been a centrist. Watch. He's about to say, think about this. 2-state solution. Okay? But what do you think that has to do with the question? Nothing. He's about to somehow get to talking about a 2-state solution for Israel and Palestine. What?
Political positions in my policies and my beliefs that have changed. I still believe, for example, that what Trump is doing in Iran is the right thing. I believe that Israel has a right to defend itself and to be a sovereign nation. I also simultaneously believe that a 2-state solution is necessary. These are the same positions that I have had my entire life, and I will not change it, and I will continue to espouse it, whether the microphone is here at WABC on my Substack or on any of my other platforms. So I don't know who the gentleman was that was talking about me. It doesn't mean anything
Former
to
prosecutor.
me. They have every right to say whatever it is. Just because you have an opinion does not make it factually correct.
Oh my gosh! Oh my goodness! I never heard that before. Wait, so you're telling me that I can believe something, but it could be wrong? Wait. So at the same time, I can think something's true, but it could be wrong. Just because I say something, it doesn't be true. You're just saying stuff. You're just saying stuff. My mommy watches this show. You're just saying crap. Why? And I've always believed two-state solution, Israel's right to defense stuff. The question was, why did you flip-flop on Trump? What are we talking about Israel for? And then he goes, and just because you have an opinion doesn't mean that it's right. Thank you for that quote. From I once famously said, who says who? Became a worldwide meme.
Just because you have an opinion does not make it factually correct.
But do you still think President Trump is a racist and a con man and a cheat and a mob-style boss?
Right, but what you're doing is you're trying to go back in time, and I refuse to do that. I will not do that.
Michael Cohen, thank you so much.
We're not trying to go back in time. We're trying to go in time right now. Into this time, right here, right in front of us, sir. What do you think now? Follow-up question. Are you a liar? I hate when people do that. Because I think it rhetorically sounds smarter than it is. I'm just not looking in the past. Shut up. Okay. I'm not doing hypotheticals. That's the other one they'll use. I'm just asking you about something in the future. Like, who are you going to vote for in the midterms? Democrats or Republicans, generally? I don't do hypotheticals. All right. Okay. So then, what does it feel like right now to have betrayed every one of your values? That's now. That's right now. In this moment, how does it feel to have come out of the closet as a total fraud? And actually, we shouldn't have ever even wondered that, with him, with it, not just support. You could support Trump and then not support Trump and be genuine and be great. But there are people who did the dirty work, the dirty deets. I merged two words. The dirty deets, the dirty deet work for Trump that I don't think you ever trust again. Because he knew what Trump was and he was it too. And then he saw there's a big opportunity to be anti-Trump, and then that'll help me in these legal cases. That'll help me in media. And then he's looking around, he's like, wait, no, I'm not relevant anymore. Oh, it'd be so cool if I'm pro-Trump again. WABC, when you know, you know. Don't forget to catch my show on WABC at 3 p.m. Eastern. Well, then you know what you know. By the way, somebody asked in a super chat, Jim Flagg said, ever thought of having Cohen on your show to explain himself? Michael Cohen, if anyone's clipping and sending to him, just clip this part. Hi, Mike. Just covered your interview. Great job. We loved it. And I'd love to chat. So, no, I can't fake it. I think you're a total fraud. But you're a tough guy, right? You're a tough guy. Your boss is Trump, is the president. I'm just here. Man, look at me. I have like a Cirque du Soleil shirt on. What the hell? What the hell? I'm no threat to you. I never even saw this show. But it was in my brother's closet. So, tell me, will you come on and have an interview? Have an interview. It's easy. It's easy peasy lemon squeezy. Let's do it, shall we? We'll just talk. Invitation has been submitted. I think we should do that, frankly. Okay. Gosh, it's so aggravating. So aggravating. I don't care which one your truth is, but one has to be it. Because they contradict. And he tries to do this thing where he says, no. This is a story of friends reuniting. Yeah, but I don't like being friends with people that are who you described him to be, right? Who would want to be friends with someone who's the epitome of evil, which you practically described him as? I don't want to look in the past. Okay. All right. I'm moving on. No more of this negative energy in my life. Goodbye. Unless I want to talk about it tomorrow, then I will. Kimberly West became a member by clicking the join button. Thank you so much. KCNP8. Sounds like another one of Michael's shows. Catch me when you know on KCP8. KCNP8. If there's a way for you to make the nice cock hat in dark gray, I would buy 3. We can look into that. Nat Bruff said it's obvious Trump has dirt on him. You think so? Josh Johnson said he had his boat rocked. You better put that thing back in the port because it just got rocked. Nixie Bear sent a gifted membership, so kind of you. And then Dizzy Diva Studio sent a very generous super chat and said, happy F off Friday. Get rid of the Deanne. Hope this makes it easier for you. Oh, got rid of the Deanne. Hope this makes it easier for you. Love you guys.
Dizzy Deanne Texas is now.
Dizzy Diva Studio. I love it. Thank you. And thank you for that super chat. Digital Design and Innovation member 13 months. So I think Cohen's attempting a Trojan horse approach to then sabotage Trump for revenge. Probably he is not smart enough to actually pull it off. I'm stupid. Okay, so I just want to get ahead of that because the real words were problem is he is not smart enough to actually pull it off. Okay, so that was not your fault. I was thinking, why'd they write it like that? And then I realized it was me who read it like that. So I do appreciate you greatly for that and being a member for 13 months. And I hope that's what he's doing, because if not, I cannot even, I don't think there's any words that are negative enough for what I want to say to him. But maybe it's a long op. Hunter Mex said, I'm in Dallas and now a member. I'm in the Luke Club. Welcome. Ryan Galley, member for 2 months, said, I don't want to kink shame, but this is embarrassing for Cohen. Casey said, my friend told me to come here to talk about cock. And then also said, I also wanted to learn about Mitch McTurtle's life. McTurtle's life. I haven't had a pep today, so I blame that for my mouth not working. But let's talk about someone who's no. This is a completely different topic. Okay. All right. The letters have been leaked. The Natalie files. They're out. And you've probably seen them elsewhere, but you want to hear me read them, I know. So stay with me. We're going to do that. It's going to be great. But I got to be honest, I was skeptical of Michael Wolff in certain reports because they seemed a little too good to be true. But he obtained these letters, and so he clearly does still have sources around Trump because these are a crazy bombshell. And of course, we're talking about Natalie Harp, seen in this photo running after Trump as he's in a golf cart. Because you know how it is whenever you're the aide of somebody. Interestingly, though, before we get to the letters, Melania came out of hiding. We haven't seen her in forever. And this was one of the rare events that Natalie was not at. I don't know what that means, but here's what Melania said.
Good afternoon. I heard you missed me. Here I am. Welcome to the White House.
Natalie has not replaced me. So that's kind of interesting, right? Do you know what she's referencing? The Natalie reporting.
Hello.
Hi. Because she kept being brought up in reference to it. Like, why is Natalie Trump's emotional support binky, according to Maggie Haberman, which has launched our new audience named Beasley's Binkies. Everyone said, I'm a binky. Right, that's how I know. On the street, when you recognize, I'm a binky, suck. And right, so let's see. She was brought up a lot in reference to that. Melania, where's Melania? And so then she comes out and she goes, I heard you missed me. And that's her way of saying, I saw the reporting and I'm here still. And apparently she's not afraid. Apparently she didn't see our warning video saying we're afraid for Melania's life, that Natalie's going to do something untoward. But here's one of the letters that Natalie wrote to Donald Trump. We have the full thing, not just excerpts, but the actual full body of the text. Dear Mr. President, Natalie wrote, now this is the note I wanted to write, but the apology needed to come first. I have learned so much about myself on this trip. I always knew, I think this was on the trip to Scotland, coming home to my roots would be enlightening, but I had no idea how much. Much quieter. For the first time, and I don't know how long, you forced me to unplug. We could be out on the course with no machines and even forget what time it was. I didn't have to be a human printer. I could take time to enjoy good conversation and still get all my work done at the end of the day. In fact, I even had time to take long morning and evening walks to enjoy each sunrise and sunset, though I did forget to eat and sleep. With so much thinking time, I confess it did have a slightly negative effect at times that I know you picked up on, but the end result I believe will be worth it. I had no idea how rapidly I was approaching burnout and starting to envy those whose only job seems to be talk to you and look pretty. I want that job. So many times, I'm just trying to stay afloat with all that's coming in for you. I look like a hunchback who didn't have time to freshen up. At least you know what I look like, what I should look like. Why is she commenting on, like, I didn't look good enough for you, but you know sometimes I can look wonderful. Plus, I miss the days when you used to call during my talk show days, and we talk about everything and nothing. I want to get back to that synergy. We shouldn't have to talk about work all the time. I've always felt like an in-betweener, somewhere between staff and those you enjoy talking to on the plane or at dinner, because that's who I used to be to you when I was a talk show host, as much as I hated that actual job. I wish I could hear every conversation, because that's when you're having a good time, getting away from it all, at least for a few moments. But after going through all the self-analysis, my conclusion, I need to reunite my past self with my current into a better version who will make you proud. And please, when I fail, will you tell me? You have the absolute right to cuss me out, if need be, when I deserve it, because no one knows or cares about me more. Thank you for always being there for me. I'll never forget when you made that promise to me after losing my dad, and I know how happy he is right now that I did get to go to Scotland and Ireland, as he always wanted for me, to modify a classic, quote, I could not have parted with you to anyone less worthy, and I will add, it is I who is unworthy. Always, Natalie. P.S. My hands looked worse in Scotland and Ireland because the cold turns the old scars purple, still on the road to recovery. So, of course, I do sympathize a lot with, she's had she got cancer and a lot of health problems, and that's why she purportedly got fixated on Trump, because he passed the right to try, which she believes saved her life, and she became a cult follower because of it, I guess. But that's one of them, okay?
One of them?
That's one of them. There's another one. There's two, of course.
I have a quick question. Who was she talking about when she was like, I wish I could be one of the pretty people paid to talk to you? Is she talking about Michael? Like, who is that in reference to?
She's talking about all those unnamed aides who we see in the Oval Office when they're like, press, get out, and they all step in front of the camera, and there's like a bunch of mini-me's. Not mini-me, but like mini-me's of Levitt. I don't know. Little Levitt mini-me's. All right, this is the next one, if you could hit the music again. Dear Mr. President, I'm sorry. I thought I was the only one left behind last night. I had no idea Margot's car was also pulled over and sent back to the airport. Since I was alone in the van outside customs without my passport, I panicked and should have just called Secret Service instead of you. I'm also sorry if I was an embarrassment walking the course in Scotland. The first day I was told there were no carts and people walked, which is why I walked. The second day I was specifically asked by, I forget who his name was, but one of the main people who worked there if I could continue walking and tell any other girls who would head out there to do the same, to spare the course any more carts. If there's anything else I have done to cause you trouble, please forgive me. I know that some people have said I haven't been texting them back. And there have been some international cell issues. John was having technical issues on the plane too, so I asked him to help him out. So he asked me to help him out. Blah, blah, blah. I want things to always be right between us. I also know I've been distracted all week, forgetting to eat throughout the days and even forgetting to sleep and only catching a couple hours at a time. I haven't been myself, dwelling on the past and the pain of losing my dad. And I started letting the remarks of people who haven't bothered me before get to me. Not because I care what others think, but because I see myself being lowered in your eyes and good opinion. That is the fear you see, because I never want to bring you anything but joy. I'm sorry I lost my focus. You're all that matters to me. I don't want to ever let you down. Thank you for being my guardian and protector in this life. That's what I wanted to use this card for when you saw me at the cash register, and once again did what you didn't have to do and gifted me with mementos of this trip of a lifetime, a coming of age. I will return a better person. I have to sign off now as the cars are leaving. See you soon. With all my heart, Natalie. Why did she say a coming of age? She's 37. She's that's Kayla, when are you having a coming of age?
In 5 years, apparently.
So I don't know. I feel uncomfortable now. That was a little bit too intimate. So why about Trump? I could get becoming I don't think you should, but like I could imagine getting this way about like Obama. You know what I mean? He's just always you see him one time go down the Air Force One stairs and he's like and you're like, oh my gosh. And then you write him letters. I could imagine that easier than this. Imagine writing this about Trump. You know Trump? Do you know Trump?
Do you know Trump?
Trump? Like, do you know Trump? Do you really know him? Is this really what we're so enamored by right here? Is this really the Messiah? Your guardian and protector? She describes him as? Your coming of age catalyst? Is that really it? Ugh. There's definitely a psychological problem. Now I see why Secret Service was like, let's keep an eye on her. Okay, let's keep an eye. If I can't have you, no one will. Is really what I think they're worried about. You know what I mean? wait, this way. Where'd she go? What are you doing? What are you doing here? So, Natalie Hart, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what other commentary to give. I feel uncomfortable. Get me out of this segment.
She looks great.
She seems great. She is beautiful.
Yeah, very pretty lady.
And by the way, I'm not alleging an affair. I'm saying there's an obsession.
Yes.
That is weird. And I stand by that. Stephen Cox became a member by clicking the join button. Thank you. Forte and Blues, member for 10 months, said, going to a concert tomorrow with my former lover, current best friend. Wish me luck. Michael Cohen is an absolute toy for Trump. Also love you guys. Love you back. I've never heard someone describe someone as their former lover and best friend. I like that. There's a little tension though, huh? A little bit of tension. I see. Have fun though. Dominator Cosplay says, I'll say it since you won't. Her mouth. Nope. Thank you though. Nixie Bear said, glad to spend let me make sure I'm not the one messing this up. These are the words. Glad to spend some my birthday watching y'all live. Gotcha. Gotcha. The dubstep Charlie Kirk song lives in my head rent free now. You guys are amazing. Keep it up. Thank you so much. That has been stuck in my head too. Do you know where you can find that particular one? We are Charlie Kirk. Drizzler said, this makes my tummy feel weird. Yeah, I'm feeling a little nauseous too. Maybe this can help clear out our nausea. Let's see. That's not it. I could find. Just y'all stick with me. I hate when I have a moment of not having machine gun lips on this show, and then people go, "Oh, I gotta go do something else." Sorry. No, stick with me. 1 second. It wasn't last bonus show. it was this one. I can. Here was one of them. You want to see from the bonus show?
Yeah.
They kept doing this to me. I couldn't even do the normal bonus show. Watch.
Chat, go.
This is the type of stuff that happens on the bonus show. So click the join button, become a member to get access to an evening stream that is just for members.
Go for it.
My mic's not working.
No, we of course.
We are Charlie.
No.
We are Charlie.
The first time I ever heard the Charlie Kirk song was blasting out of a pickup truck when I was leaving a Home Depot in Georgia. That's not a joke. That's just a real thing that happened to me once.
We are Charlie Kirk. We carry the flame. We'll fight for the gospel.
The bonus show, ladies and gentlemen. Click the join button, become a member, and get again that just in case anyone feels insensitive. That is a song someone wrote to honor him. Mm-hmm. It was. Now it got memed, but it was. I mean, not the dubstep, but like the original one was. So I think it's fair. Dominator Cosplay said, "We're watching Obsession play out in real life." Lol. Exactly. We really and truly are. Quick trivia. Don't look on screen. Is Rudy Giuliani still up? Is he still around? Kayla, this is for Kayla.
Oh my god.
Do you know?
I don't.
You don't. Okay. He is. He is. He is still.
You asked me
doing
and I
things.
doubted.
I know. I didn't know. I really, in all seriousness, did not know. Well, yesterday I had this news broken to me that he is still doing a show. Rudy Giuliani. A mayoral icon turned failed dripping lawyer of Trump's, whose life fell apart after working for Trump. And he is right now in the middle of another lawsuit that was brought years ago, but now is finally being pushed forward around sexual harassment of someone who previously worked with him. But before we get to that, I was on the damage report yesterday, and John Adirola showed me this clip. Can we just cut to this, and then I'll give you more updates on the state of Rudy. But look at how angry he gets about the concept that people are in pain.
Some folks in this country, of the younger generations, are feeling the squeeze a little bit economically.
Who cares if they're squeezed? Their grandparents felt the Depression and were pro-American.
Yeah, right.
They don't have anything like the Depression. They're a bunch of privileged little...
Right, you're right.
But what they really need is somebody like my father to kick the shit out.
Right. So my point, yeah, right. You're. That's it. And
if I ever said the things about America that they said, I wouldn't get much of a chance to say it in my house. I mean, I can't imagine what their parents are like.
That set is subtle, by the way. Could you fit more flags in there, Grandpa? But anyway, so Rudy Giuliani says that they're privileged little S's and they should have the crap kicked out of them because they're struggling. Like, that's not specifically why he's mad. It's specifically that they're struggling, and thus they're now supporting candidates who are actually proposing we do something about it. DSA candidates in general. That's what's making him so mad. And so he's angry at them. He's also angry, I guess, at their parents, too. Take a look.
A lot of those parents are going, well, I don't know.
it's interesting, right? Even I got to credit my parents. I felt like they raised me the right way. I was expected to do chores and work around the house.
A bunch of ex-hippies.
Right. Well, that's also
a lot of the parents of these kids are a bunch of ex-hippies, and they were smoking their marijuana, and these were smoking even stronger marijuana. Well, we're going to take a short break.
Yeah, they have substance abuse issues, whereas Rudy Giuliani...
By the way, I'm going to keep playing this because I am, but I didn't like how many R's he put in marijuana. Something felt... Something felt. Is it possible for you to turn marijuana into a slur? Watch. This is like the slur version of marijuana. Watch.
Right. Well, that's
a
also
lot of the parents
also
of these
true.
kids
Yeah.
are a bunch of ex-hippies and they were smoking their marijuana and these were smoking even strong.
That kind of makes me uncomfortable. Marijuana. Ah. How dare you say that about my friend Mary? Okay, keep watching. This is the context.
Marijuana. Well, we're going to take a short break.
Yeah, they have substance abuse issues, whereas Rudy Giuliani's generation never imbibed anything that was mind-altering. Again, look, this is kind of old man yells at cloud, I guess, but it is tied to the fact that these DSA candidates are sort of winning in races around the country. And I know that, like, Rudy, Luke, just wants to interpret this as they hate America, the people voting for them hate America. He seems like physically incapable of grappling with the idea that it's not about hating America, it's about wanting to try something different because it doesn't feel like what we've been doing works. That seems very understandable to me, but he seems to be having a problem with it. What do you think?
Yes, I agree. I just want to be inspired by Rudy. No, actually, I disagree, John. I think days were better when you were a good, old-fashioned American alcoholic and you beat your kids. As opposed to now you have these high, sexually open, supportive parents who are turning our society into a bunch of queers. And that is what I think, okay? That's what I think. Don't you dare bring up substance abuse, Rudy Giuliani. But anyways, don't ask why I had a Tito's bottle so close by.
That
don't
was
ask that
very
question.
close.
I saw the rundown or something. So yeah, I don't even want to discourage him from ranting like that. That's great. Do that. That is the best ad for Democrats ever, when a prominent Republican is saying, oh, you have concerns? Well, you must just be a wussy. Now, the thing people forget too, I feel like definitely some right-wing minded people in the older generation feel this bitterness towards complaints because they feel like they lived through difficult times. Yeah, and they were complaining too, okay? That's how we made our country better. That's the story, is that often the younger generation points to the things that are wrong and then gets more engaged in politics. You sure can be motivated by your love for the country and by your love for certain aspects of who we are. I definitely love America, and that helped me to get passionate. And I also got really engaged when I was young about politics because I was really afraid of and opposed to Trump when he was entering politics. A complaint, a recognition about the issues that exist within the country that you love are a really motivating factor. And that was the story in many generations before this one. And so it's just a very tired, worn out rant from a very tired, worn out, alive, allegedly, person. By the way, gargoyle, right? Gargoyle. Can you pull up an image of a gargoyle for me? I feel like that's what every time I'm looking at him, I'm trying to remember what he is. Because people keep saying person. Homo sapien. I'm like, there's a different word that's better that describes him. Do you hear, Mike?
Yeah, I just want to say two things. The first one, his rant about everyone being so entitled or whatever. As a reminder, as a socialist reminder to everybody, the minimum wage is always supposed to be a minimum wage. And if we wanted to adjust for inflation, the minimum wage should give people $100,000 a year because it is supposed to be a living wage to avoid to be able to live a decent life on that single wage. Second thing is, chat is telling me that marijuana is a slur. Chat's saying that the word marijuana is taken. It's the Spanish term for cannabis, and it was used during like the reefer madness scare to make people think it was Latino and scary.
Well, I like saying marijuana. So that's all that really matters. No, but I'm kind of proud of our intuition that we knew the way he was saying it came from somewhere bad. That was almost, I thought I was joking, but then when you say it like that, you could kind of feel something racial about how he said a very normal word in our.
And it was from the alcohol lobby.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you tell me. Corporate needs you to point out the differences between these two photos, okay? This one and this one. They're the same photo. So I think I heard he might have gone back to the hospital. Of course, we send our love and hope everything's good, but he should be good given that he's stone. So, but yeah, he's a nasty, nasty man. You don't need to put this up, Jaden, but just I looked up some quick bullet points about this lawsuit because I saw this headline. I guess you can throw this up for a second. Vapid depravity. Rudy Giuliani ordered to prepare for sordid sex trial. And then if you'll take that down, that's what's finally moving forward. You may have remembered this from years ago, but you have Noelle Dunphy, who worked for Rudy Giuliani from 2019 to 2021. And she alleges in this lawsuit that he would, as a requirement for the job, force her into sexual acts. So rape her and forced oral sex, sometimes demanded it. I remember this while he was on speakerphone with people like Trump. So like when he was on an important call, he would want her to force her to perform oral sex so that he felt like super powerful and important. It's freaking disgusting. Sex was a condition of her employment. According to her, Giuliani would expose himself and tell her he couldn't work until she sexually satisfied him. What? She alleges he demanded she worked naked. Again, this is Noelle Dunphy, who worked for him, in a bikini or in short shorts he purchased for her. During remote work, she alleged Giuliani frequently asked her to remove her clothes on camera. She alleges that during work, Giuliani would grope her and initiate sexual contact despite her objections, and it just goes on and on and on. So that's what this headline's in reference to, that Giuliani's been ordered to prepare for trial after trying to get this thrown out. It didn't work. It did not work to throw out the case, but for some reason, he's still doing his America's Mayor podcast. For who's going, honey, we gotta get home soon. Giuliani's show starts in 5. And he was ranting about Ossoff. Oh, you want to say Ossoff has some character issues, do you? He doesn't, by the way. I'm sure he has some character flaws, but I'm saying like he's trying to say since Ossoff brought up Natalie, that's disgusting of him, and that's a character flaw. Rudy.
So one of the top on my list is the moron senator from Atlanta named Ossoff. John Ossoff got elected in a weird way in an election I will never understand. Right after the major theft in Georgia of the 2020 election.
You're still hanging on to that, are you? This is a sad, sad state of affairs. Wow. Imagine you're at the top of the world. You're described as America's mayor back when he was the mayor of New York. Oh, you took down the bomb. Yeah. You saved us from 9/11 or responded to it. By the way, people say he was good after 9/11. Mm-hmm. How would one have been bad? Trump calling and being like, I have the tallest building now. You remember that? You remember that phone call? So that's one way you could be bad. But a lot of these leaders are like, yeah, well, Bush, it's like he got up there and he said, we're Americans. It's like, wow, I think any politician could have walked around and been like, hey, we're going to stand together. Yay. This was bad. We're going to go kill them. That's like, I don't know. I would have to go look at the story a little bit more to understand why people say Rudy did such a good job. What did he really do? This is my question. Now seeing how much of a mess he is, it makes me question if he really was incredible or if it was just any leader in that time looked great because there was such a tragedy, so we united around our leaders. You know what I mean? And they could say, you may have started it, but we're going to finish it. And then, of course, our finishing it turned into a quagmire. But we got Osama bin Laden. That was cool. Hey, that was cool. Yes. We did. Yes. Couple wars, but, we got Osama bin Laden.
General Motors is alive.
Right. And Osama bin Laden is dead. Yes. So, again, I'm saying there were good, like, when I hear Biden say that speech, I go, yeah. But how good really was Rudy? But he thought he was good, and America thought he was good. I talked to my older relatives, and they're like, yeah, everyone loved Rudy. But then because he wanted to attach himself to Trump, he ruined his whole life and is in a bunch of debt and has been sued a bazillion times for all of the lies that he told about the elections, and then now this sexual harassment assault. It's being described in headlines as harassment. This is like a sexual assault lawsuit he's also still dealing with. And his argument keeps being, you can't bring this lawsuit. I'm too old and poor. Literally, that's his defense, is I'm too old and poor for this lawsuit. Well, you wouldn't have been poor if you didn't have to pay so much money to the people you defamed. Like Ruby Freeman, right? KCNP8 said, in your discussion a couple weeks ago, Kayla forgot to define the distinction between private property and personal property. Also, gray hats, please. Thank you. I didn't know we had the gray hat rave. Cajun C sent 5 gifted memberships. Thank you to you. Let's talk about Bill O'Reilly.
They're smear merchants. This Ossoff, I would not vote for, I'd vote for Putin over Ossoff.
Hey, so you hate America. We're going to play that game? You know how whenever there's a far left candidate, some far left candidates that I disagree with on a bunch of things, but the quick attack from the right is they hate America. This is a clearer argument for hating America than any that I've seen with them. You would vote for Putin, who disagrees with literally every purported American value. Like all the things that are supposed to make us America, he hates. And also is a mass murderer. You remember that? Who did Ossoff mass murder? So Bill O'Reilly says this after just because Ossoff said Trump prefers to fixate on his ballroom and travel with Natalie. That's it. And Bill O'Reilly has this meltdown. I'm going to show you Chris Cuomo confronting him on this in a second.
That's how bad this guy Ossoff is. And believe me, if I were President Trump, I'd be combing everything that Ossoff's ever done.
Try him. I've tried to find dirt and I can't.
Ever done for doing this. But you don't get any of that from the press. You got ho, 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 ha, 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 but you didn't get condemnation.
So he's trying to grandstand saying it was somehow low character or misogynist for Ossoff to casually reference Natalie as an embodiment of the sycophants that surround Trump and made no reference to anything inappropriate at all, and then right-wingers jumped to that conclusion. So before we look at Chris Cuomo confronting him over that I'd vote for Putin over Ossoff comment, here's Christopher Hale reminding us about who O'Reilly is. Oh, you want to talk about our discussions and treatment of women, do you? Okay. Quote, if any woman ever breathed a word, I'll make her pay so dearly that she'll wish she'd never been born, O'Reilly allegedly said, adding, Ailes knows very powerful people, and this goes all the way to the top. Macris says later that August, O'Reilly called her at her home, excited after interviewing 2 porn stars, and launched into a monologue about sex and vibrators. It's become apparent that O'Reilly was masturbating as he spoke, the suit says. Later, the suit says, O'Reilly told Macris he'd like to take her on a Caribbean vacation and fantasized about foreplay involving a loofah. So that's the type of boss that Bill O'Reilly was, allegedly. But then Chris Cuomo brings him on and says, you would vote for Putin over John Ossoff? So you hate America? Okay.
Now, you teased Ossoff. I want to get to that.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
So
you said you'd rather vote for Putin.
I would.
You'd vote for Vladimir Putin, who is a murderer. You would vote for a murderer over a U.S. senator.
Well, when you frame it that way, I might stay home.
Yeah, probably a good call, Bill.
Okay. Ossoff goes out there and number one says, Trump, this is Trump's war. He lied about it, but doesn't say what the lies are. I'd like to know what the lies are because I don't know what
that they were in imminent threat of getting something, that it would be over in a couple of weeks. That's all. Go ahead.
By the way, Chris Cuomo with his pinky could break Bill O'Reilly in half, I just want to say. As I'm watching this, I'm glad that they're doing this virtually because Chris Cuomo could just flex his pec and launch Bill O'Reilly into the atmosphere. Bad to the Cuomo.
Okay, maybe that's a miscalculation.
It's not a lie. A lie is when you wake up in the morning saying, I'm going to deceive everybody for my own gain. That's what a lie is. And then Ossoff attacks Natalie Harp. Now, I know Natalie Harp, and there is nobody that I know who works harder for this country. She's always on call. Okay? She is a decent human being. And I can attest to that. Why would you do that? Why would you impugn this woman's character?
Didn't impugn her character, just said Trump travels with her.
In a cheap, gutter snipe way. So Ossoff is a gutter snipe. That's who he is. And the people of Georgia should know, because character counts. You know?
As Bill O'Reilly, yeah, Chris Cuomo, oh, this is going to be so fun. I'll stop pausing so much in a second, I promise. But can we get some Binky merch? Like, it would be funny when I'm trying not to pause clips to put in a pacifier. That would be weird imagery, though. But it's interesting when he says, Ossoff did a gutter snipe. He's a gutter snipe. To which almost everyone in America is like, where's that gutter and how do I get in it with him?
Snipe. That's who he is. And the people of Georgia should know, because character counts. You know?
Bill, the man he said it about.
What?
And you're going to say, I don't do that. I know, but you only don't do comparison when it's to Donald Trump. The idea that you or a Scott Jennings have your panties in a bunch over what Ossoff said about a woman connected to the president, when this man does nothing but denigrate women for sport on a regular basis.
What aboutism?
Bill, yeah, because it matters.
It doesn't matter.
If you're going to say you don't like Ossoff talking about Natalie Harp, Cuomo? By the way, I'm not endorsing going after anybody. I'm just saying it's a little rich, Bill,
this
that
is
this
fifth
bothers
grade
you.
Stuff.
No, it's not fifth grade.
This is fifth grade
Bill,
stuff.
you can't pretend to have a standard of decency that you don't employ on the president. You can't do that. It's hypocritical.
Button it for a minute. This is going to help your career. We're not talking about Trump and Trump's insults.
Go ahead.
We're talking about a senator from Georgia and his insults.
Yeah.
You deflect into whataboutism.
Yes.
That's fifth grade.
No, it's not. If you're going to be upset about what he said, then you need to employ that standard against the President of the United States, because that is nothing compared to what the President says for sport, and you say nothing. You say, that's Trump being Trump. Well, this is Ossoff being Ossoff.
That's not true.
Love him or hate him.
That's, again, you don't know what you're talking about. I've criticized Donald Trump many times for these ridiculous arguments and insults that lead nowhere. And anybody who watches the No Spin News or sees my commentary knows that.
You were just, you were just using me as a Democrat. You were helping my career by calling me a Democratic spokesperson on your show yesterday.
I'm helping your career.
Donald Trump, he doesn't like him, like all Democrats. Like I'm a Democrat. If I'm a Democrat,
I don't care whether you like him or not.
Then you're a Republican. Well, you said it on your show. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I don't care whether you like him or not. What I want you to stop is the whataboutism.
No.
It is not.
No, comparison matters. If you're going to apply a moral standard or a character standard to one side, apply it to both. That's all I'm saying. You can call it whatever you want.
Each situation is different. This woman is innocent, and did you see the news cycle today? That's all you saw. Was this woman?
That's because you guys won't stop talking.
What do you mean she's innocent? Innocent of what? What? What is he even talking about? And also, he does this thing when he's arguing with Chris. Chris has him on a lot, and they'll go through like similar styles of debates because O'Reilly will try to impugn the character of a Democrat. Chris will go, okay, let me see if you're consistent. Will you apply that same standard to your leader, Trump? And O'Reilly will go, no, we can't talk about that. That's I'm not talking about Trump right now. I'm talking about this person. See, the difference, it's funny when people use the term whataboutism when they don't know what's happening. Whenever you refuse to discuss an issue, and so you distract from that by bringing up something else, that's whataboutism. That's different than someone checking to see if you have consistent principles. So Chris is not saying whether or not yet he agrees with your assessment of Ossoff until he sees that you would apply that same standard to somebody else because we know that you want it. it's checking for principles. Those are different concepts. And every time O'Reilly goes, I'm not going to talk about it, that's whataboutism. But of course, here, the actual thing that was said has nothing to it that's negative. There's nothing that Ossoff did that's negative. He just passingly referenced one of Trump's aides, again, as an example of how Trump surrounds himself with sycophants that are really weird and obsessed with him. And so for that to cause O'Reilly to say he would vote for Putin over that person, okay, I heard you. Not whataboutism, I heard you. That has been said. Now, a different question. Does that mean you would vote for Hitler over Trump? Because if you vote for Putin over Ossoff because of that tiny comment, take a look at the things Trump has said. What would that mean that you would vote for instead of Trump? So that's what Chris is getting at. But Bill thinks he's doing something smart by being like, I'm not talking about Trump right now. I'm talking about Ossoff.
About it because you think it's going to help you put down Ossoff. That's
You
why.
guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys.
I'll just point out that when Barack Obama was accused of being born in Kenya, I broke the story about the 2 newspapers in Honolulu that had the birth announcement.
Remind me, who was front running? Who was front running that BS? Remind me, who was it? Anybody?
I don't know who it was.
Donald
I did
Trump.
my job.
I forgot. It was Donald Trump that was front running that BS. See what I'm saying?
He doesn't run my operation.
Yeah, but you should call it out. You're going to say you broke
Oh my gosh, that was so good by Chris. Who was it? Why would you bring up the birtherism thing right now, O'Reilly? That serves Chris's argument.
Also, why would you bring it up saying you did your job and then be like, I don't know who started it. I just reported on it. So you did it poorly, or are you being obtuse?
Yeah. Oh, it's so silly. Silly is definitely the word that I mean. And then Chris, the next day on his show, reflected on that conversation.
He was being serious. He was actually getting upset that I wouldn't accept that complete bunch of hypocrisy. Admit I did a good job keeping my face straight, though. Come on, for most of it. Because what a pathetic joke this is. Now they want to talk about decency. So my question is, let's bring in a critical thinker here who supports...
Yeah. You want to talk about decency, do you? By the way, I don't even like that that's where the conversation's going, because it is funny. Imagine that Ossoff said, like, oh, Trump would rather sleep with his aides than care about Americans. That would be, like, not a decent thing to say, because it would be speculative. We don't have evidence of that. But that would be a very Trumpian thing to say. And that could launch a conversation about, do Democrats have any obligation to be decent when Trump has destroyed decency? But that's not even what happened. Ossoff did not say anything, unbecoming of a senator during that speech. The news cycle is bothering MAGA because a lot of pundits like me are diving more into how weird this is. Ossoff just made a casual reference. And so it makes it even more insane that they're like, well, we just don't think that you should pick on people. You got like the pick on people in chief in the Oval Office, you goobers. What are you talking about? Easy Money Mommy said more. Is it Mamie? Mommy? Just with an I. Yep. More they hate the more they hate, the more we scream Ossoff for 2028. Oh, rhyming. Okay, I love it. Yes, agreed. Screaming Ossoff a lot. So thank you all for watching today's show. Join us at 6 p.m. Eastern Time for our Booze and the News. It's going to be a blast live for everyone starting at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, and then halfway through we'll switch over to just members. So make sure you are one by clicking the join button. Podcast listeners, please leave a rating and a review. Much love. Talk to you all next time.